Hi everyone, and welcome to Two-Player Quest, where I help you on your quest to find the best two-player board games for you. Now in today's video, I have Kinfire Delve, Vainglory's Grotto by Incredible Dream. In this game, you try to defeat Vainglory by diving into her well of monsters, puzzles, traps, and obstacles to defeat her in this co-op dungeon diving game. But is it any good, and how does it work? Well, let's delve in, shall we? This game is a game for 1 to 2 players that plays in about an hour. It's at a 2.12 on Board Game Geek for complexity, so it's a relatively easy game, and it is a medium luck game. You gain a certain set of cards in your hands. If those cards don't work well with what is on the board, and you have to discard your hand, get a exhaustion or a debuff, and having too many exhaustions will lose you the game. So having to do that too often will lose you the game. This is what the setup of the start of the game can look like. On the other side, we have the player who is playing Asher. So that is their open hand, their draw pile, their discard pile will come there, their character ability, and their lantern. The lantern I will tell you more about in a moment. Then we have the board in the middle. It is always one of the bosses in the middle, and then 4 challenges around it. Then we have the discard pile for the well. We have the boss cards there for later, and then we have the exhaustion, the dice, the progress tokens, and our current player. Again, with a lantern, their player card, and their draw deck, and this is their current hand. You always draw 7 cards when you draw a hand. The cards have different colours. Now, the colour corresponds with the colours on the board. So, white can be used for anything, green can be used for green, red can be used for red, blue can be used for blue. Now, at the bottom, you also have boosts. These also have colours. Most of these are white, but here we have a blue boost. We'll start with core first. That's this player here at the bottom. Now we are going to try and defeat this crystal caves. On the challenge cards, you can see what type of challenge it is. So this is an obstacle. Here you have the challenge number, so how much you have to do to defeat it, what you do if you win, and what happens if you do not defeat it. And sometimes there are special things. When attempting this challenge, if you roll a Kinfire token, then you defeat it. So you don't necessarily have to do 7 for that one, but this character is trying to do that. Now, they are going to specifically use Incredible Strength, because this gives +2 against obstacles, and the Crystal Caves was an obstacle. So the card they want to play would be 4, but it costs 7 to defeat this obstacle. Now, the opposite player, or the other player in this game, can choose to boost. You can choose to boost with up to 2 cards. This character chooses to help with a +2 boost on the correct colour, so that would lead us to 6. Now, every time you attempt a challenge, you roll the dice. Every colour you roll correctly in the corresponding colour that you are looking for is counted as 1. And then you also have the Kinfire and Darkness dice. Now, a Kinfire counts as 1 unless otherwise stated on the board, and the Darkness counts as nothing, again, unless otherwise stated on the board. So they roll the dice. In this case, they get 1 Kinfire, so that's 1 extra, which would make it 7. So in that case, they defeat this challenge. They would gain a charging of the lantern, and this card goes to the discard pile. So this character, Core, charges his lantern, which is here. They now have an extra ability they can choose to play. Now, a new card is drawn from the well deck, and you continue on. These cards go to their respective discard piles, and that was the end of the round. Now it is the next player's turn to do their turn. If ever you were to try a challenge but not defeat it, for example, if you were to only put 4 on this 7, you would place the tokens, the progress tokens on the card, and gain this punishment, which in this case is 3 damage to the Seekers. So you would place 4 tokens, but also gain 3 damage. Now, players in general start with 10 HP, unless they are trying to do a difficulty higher, in which case you start with less. Once a player has either no more cards in their hands or no cards that they want to play or are able to play, then you get an exhaustion and redraw your hand up to 7. Now there are different kinds of exhaustion cards. This one, for example, says if you ever have 3 copies of this specific type of card, then you have lost the game. So these go in public view, and you continue on, grab your hand and continue on with your turn. If you get to the end of the well and there are no more cards when you need to draw a card, all of the cards that are left will be discarded and you get the boss. In this case, you turn around the boss, you place the cards around it, and you do what it says on the cards and do these challenges. Now, the boss is always invulnerable to every colour until you turn around certain cards. So if you were to complete this challenge, it now tells you it is now vulnerable to red. So now you can try to attempt the boss using red. The players win if they defeat the boss. The players lose if they were to die or lose in another way due to exhaustion, for example. This is quite a simple game to teach. I would say you give it 5 minutes, maybe 10 if you're not as experienced with board games, but other than that, 5 minutes and you can get started. If you're looking for a tactical card game where strategy and cooperation are key, then this might be a good fit for you. Now, it doesn't need much space, be it the box or the amount of space on the table. So if you're looking for a compact game that's easy to take with you to school, if you have an hour to kill, or anywhere else you have some time to kill, then this is an excellent fit perhaps. But it is the type of game that you can lose relatively easily. So that is something to take into consideration. So this game is growing on us, but we still don't necessarily like it. We tried this at the UK Games Expo where we got the other Kinfire box, and we really did not like it at that point. We tried a couple rounds, we got the explanation from the people, and we basically came to the conclusion this is not a game for us. But that's mainly apparently after we've played it now at home with somebody else's box, we've come to the conclusion that it's growing on us, but it's not the game for us. Now, at the Games Expo, we were basically drawing the wrong cards, the wrong challenges. We had a bit of explanation that was wrong that really made it interesting for us that we thought, no, because you lose this too easily. Now, having played it properly, we can see that there are differences. See, it's not bad, but not bad for us is not good enough for us to keep, basically. So in general, I think this would be an excellent game for someone else. We think for us, for the amount of time it takes, it's either too number crunchy and not interesting enough for that number crunching to be worth it. But for someone else who's looking for a simpler game with strategy, what's best to do, then this could be very good. It's just not for us. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching our review of Kinfire Delve, Vainglory's Grotto. If you want to see another one of my videos, please click up here. If you have any comments, feedback or suggestions, you can always put them in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you next time on 2 Player Quest.